Hello, hello. Hope you guys are doing well. We'll start in about 5 minutes, so hopefully you can hear me okay. Just waiting on a few others to join in. But you are all the first ones, so congratulations, you've made it here early. First meetup of the year for us. All right, let's just check. Internet's all okay. Okay. Hello, Renee. Hello, Andre. Welcome, welcome. We're just going to wait for a few more people to jump in. But yeah, 7 o'clock or so, we're going to start with some updates and then we'll get into it. But where are you guys calling in from? If you are, at home, or are you traveling? All good. We'll just wait for a few more people and stuff. Can you guys hear me okay? You can hear me okay?
Yeah, perfectly fine. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
from
great.
Croatia. I'm from Croatia, Europe.
Mate, amazing. What's the time over there?
Yeah, it's like 9 a.m. now
Oh
here.
my gosh.
Yeah,
Good. Mate, that is
yeah.
amazing.
I had a late meeting yesterday for Bitcoin Startup-Lab from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. So I'm a little bit
That's
blurry.
okay. Mate, well,
Yeah.
you've chosen a good time to join us. So we usually do these live in real life, and then we record and put it on YouTube. But today's good because we've got a big Bitcoin kind of presentation from the guys at Stacks. They'll talk about ordinals, Rootstock, Taproot. So, well, yeah, Rootstock and yeah, the other one. But anyway, so we'll wait for them. But in about 10, 12 minutes, they'll jump on. What I'm going to do at the start is just give an update to everyone about what's been happening, in our association, and welcoming people back because they had a long break over the holidays. Have you been to Australia, Andre?
Never been here, but I have some friends from Canberra and Melbourne. Yeah,
Amazing. My neighbors, when I grew up, were Croatian, and
yeah. There's a lot of Croatian communities there. Yeah.
very tall, very very tall people. The father was 6'5".
Strong. Yeah.
Yeah, tall and I don't know what it is. It's in the blood. You must be tall as well. But the father was 6'5", the mother was 6'1", and the sons are like 6'9", 6'10". They're very basketballers. So
Yeah, yeah. We are higher. They are taller than usual guys. Yeah, from EU.
amazing, amazing. We've got a few more people joining. Welcome, Hamish, Sarah Lee. I will pronounce your name incorrectly, probably. Jakic. I apologize if.
No, definitely not. Jacek. But if you
Yeah,
have problem, don't
Jacek.
even try. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah Lee, for joining us. We're going to get started in a few minutes. It'll be a little bit of an update from the association about what's been happening since we finished up last year, and then nice background. And then what we're going to do is get into the talk from Gordon and Thomas, talking about ordinals and Taproot and some more stuff. So that's coming. I'm just going to let a few more people in. Austin, here we go. Fantastic. And I was just saying, hey, Hamish, how you going? I was just saying to the others that what ends up happening is that during the year, we have meetups in real life across Australia, and we record those when we can. And so we have that on our YouTube channel. So if you want to see anything that we've done before, we'll definitely have that. So just going to let a few more people in. It's a good thing I've got multi screens going on so that I can have the presentation on one, and then I've got another screen. I'm just letting people in. So let's just wait a little bit on those. Welcome, Gordon, Ethan, Sean, Austin, Leah. Great to see you. Leah is one of our chapter leads, so has been helping us out in the Oz DeFi Association. There you go. And we've got.
Hello. Can we still say Happy New Year? Is it too late?
If it's the first time you've seen people and it's before February, yes.
Last day today. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year, everyone. All right, we've got on Webby joining us. We've got Jonathan. Welcome, Will. Thanks for joining us. Great to see you. I'll be down in Melbourne next week. Welcome on Webby, George, Jonathan. We've got Thomas joining in now in Electra. So Gordon, your crew is coming along soon. I was just telling the others that I'm going to do a little bit of an update for about 10 minutes or so. And then we're going to have, we'll get, it's over to you for the presentation. So I hope you're all ready. Guys, when we do this, we have some slides that we all coordinate on just via Google Slide. It's really easy, but yeah, it's going to be a really interesting presentation from the crew. It's 7:01, so just in the interest of time, I'm going to present my screen. This is all being recorded as well, so we will provide that on the Oz DeFi Association YouTube channel. So what you should see there is, hang on a second, let me just let some people in. There we go. You guys can probably see that. I'm going to admit all these people. How do I move it to over here? Okay, there we go. Yeah, okay, so basically what is going to happen? How do I move this to another? I'm showing that screen. Hi, Electra, Phil, Renee, fantastic, fantastic. All right, so look, just a really quick update from me about what's been happening over the last couple of months. The last time we saw you guys was in basically November. We ran a meetup in Sydney. We had a really great year last year. We had folks from, actually, let me just go back to that. We had our sponsors, new sponsors, joining us, and we've got new ones that we'll be announcing. We announced the last couple of days in Cloud Tech Group / Cobweb Pay, but we welcome back Stone and Chalk Stables, Sensan, Block Earner, Fireblocks, Block Damon, Crypto Lulu, where we just did a podcast there yesterday, Clip, who are digital marketers up in Brisbane, and then Digital Village. And obviously we are supported by the City of Sydney and Space Cubed over in Perth. So we've got a lot of support, truly decentralized. There's a QR code here. This is a whole heap of links. I'll show it again later on, but it's a whole heap of links for our website, for our newsletter, for the meetup groups, for the YouTube, the Discord especially as well. Discord kind of died down in the bear market, but it's come back again. So there's that. Now, the next thing is what we're going to do today. So welcome to updates. That's what I'm doing right now. Welcome to everyone who has just joined, wherever you are joining. We'll do the DeFi on Bitcoin thing very soon. There's an update from Stables. We don't have the Block Owner crews here today. They've got to sort something else out. So unfortunately, they can't join us, but that's okay. And then some intros to the people that are leading this community from around the country. So over to the updates. First of all, I want to welcome the guys from Cloud Tech and Cobweb Pay. They're a crypto native wallet, and then our Cloud Tech group are doing banking and DeFi. They're bringing the future of finance to the real world. So really interesting kind of partnership there. They've got a great venue down in Melbourne. They're building an NFT gallery. So we'll hopefully have some more shots of that, and we'll do some events down there. But they were really interesting because Liam Bussell is their chief marketing officer. He's done some really great things in the community, and he's very, very knowledgeable. So I definitely think that you know, these are people that you're going to see on stage soon, and there'll be more stuff happening there. Now, just a bit more about them, Cloud Tech Group. You can see a little bit more about the businesses and what they do, but it's the future of finance is what they're aiming for, which is amazing. And, you know, that's the kind of people that we want to work with. It's bringing the best of Web3 into the world of Web 2. You know, the old world of taking time, like a few days to get money from cross-border remittance, that has to go away. And you all here are part of this future because you're joining in on conversations like this. Also check out Cobweb Pay. So it's the DeFi native wallet and the cool things that they're doing there. So check them out. I'll just let Alex in. Okay, so sorry it's a bit blurry there, but I just want to show you. Can you guys see the full screen, by the way? Can I just get anyone to just say if you can see the full screen? Yep, okay, all good. I've just got something in the way on mine, but you can see it all good. Melbourne is our first in real life meetup. Hey there, Nick. Melbourne's the first in real life meetup that we're going to have. So if you're in Melbourne, you're in luck. You'll see us all next week. And then that's going to be at Greythorn. And we have the lovely Anthony Sassano joining us. So if you guys are into the Daily Gwei, we'll get a live version of the Daily Gwei there, just like he did last time when we were down there. And it's amazing. The man can talk. Okay, you obviously know that if you've seen his show. And then we're also in Perth on the 15th. So over to the other side. So for our friends internationally, Perth is like New York to LA. It's a really big country here in Australia. It's a couple of different nations that you cross in Europe just to get to Perth. So it's definitely a flight, but they've got an amazing community there, and they're going to talk privacy and also with a blockchain fund manager, Ian Love, who's been on TV quite a bit. So really amazing stuff. And then we're over to Sydney on the 28th. So that is back to normal schedule, the end of the month in Sydney. We're lucky that we get to record. We're going to try to record, like I said, in other cities and put that up. And I'll talk to you a bit more about what we're doing as extra this year for the Oz DeFi Association. Coming soon is Southeast Queensland. We're going to hopefully confirm and kick off a meeting in the Sunshine Coast. So that's in Maroochydore. And then we'll have something in Brisbane probably in March. So we're working on that. But Brisbane and Southeast Queensland is coming back. So watch this space. And then another thing to announce is that we are partnering, the Oz DeFi Association is partnering with my company because I wear another hat in Not Centralized, and we're going to be delivering AI technology to the Blockchain Australia Policy Forum. So what they're going to do is have a day of talks across 4 venues about regulation, innovation, other things that they want to bring to government. And the thing that we're doing there is basically taking the transcripts of what they've got, and we're basically going to turn that, use our AI tool, and you can see something here on screen. So hopefully you can see that okay. In this case, like I'm dragging and dropping a document into this tool that we built, and we're going to take those transcripts. This now vectorizes it, does the cool ChatGPT type stuff, but in a private way so that you can talk to multiple documents. But we're going to do this where, okay, I've dragged it in. I can now type in a query about the meetups, about, what did so-and-so say? What were the key points? The Blockchain Australia guys are going to use this to help them write reports. Oz DeFi, for all of these meetups, including this one, we're going to use it to produce reports. And also for people that want to subscribe to this, you can actually talk to the documents as well. I'm loading up all of our last year's meetups, our podcasts as well. So if you want to go, what did Gordon say in that meetup back in January? Give me a summary or give me some key quotes. This is going to produce it for you. So power of GPT, we're very lucky that we get to work in this emerging tech space, but you're going to see more of that. Podcasts, I just did a podcast with Tom Mitchell-Hill. So he's from Cointelegraph. He's a journo there. He's got his own podcast, NGMI. Never going to make it, but we are obviously. So ironic name there, and yeah, really good one to check out. We talk about blockchain, AI, a good bit of crossover. He's had some great guests on, and then me. So check out the great guests. Definitely subscribe to that. And then we've got friends. If you guys know Steve Vallis and Rochelle, they're over in Singapore doing another tour. They are all over the world just preaching about and connecting the Aussies in this space. At the end of this month, there's a few of us that will be going over to Japan, getting ready for FinTech Week in Japan. And there's also a DeFi retreat. So people across the APAC region, especially connected with the retreat. I don't know what that involves, but I have no doubt I am getting my liver ready. But it's going to be great to connect across the APAC region. And then just a recap, late last year, we had things like Oz CryptoCon down in Melbourne, which was amazing. We also had socials at Upside. If you're in Melbourne and you don't know about Upside, they're a cool venue with different floors of people working on Web3. Imagine a Web3 factory, but this is physical. So it's really amazing the stuff that they've got there. They run plenty of events. Oshi Gallery, a big NFT gallery run by artists, amazing stuff that they've got. They've been hosting quite a few events as well. We're going to do some more stuff with them. Late last year as well, or sorry, more mid last year, there was the Blockies. So we've got Stables. So these guys that won awards for the best project, best app, etc., blockchain company. Liam from that crew will be presenting here later on, and they're one of our sponsors. Jock Haslam and Fletcher, the guys at Hashlock, who are always supporting us, they also won awards as well. We had some great judges. This is a big decentralized community. There's a lot of amazing people in this space. So the judges were a decentralized bunch of folks from corporate, from Web3, from government as well. In Australia, for the international folks, We're a very connected space. Government wants to be part of the community. They join in on meetups like this. They listen to the community. And I think because of that, we'll get, you know, some good outcomes from all of that. I want to thank everyone as well, because this is not me alone, but if it wasn't for this community, this is a testament to you guys. But I mean, I've got my name on it, but for me, it's really the association that won this. If it wasn't for the association, I guess I wouldn't be recognized as a community leader. There's been other great ones there. There were other great nominees, but this is something for you guys. So even though it's got my name on it, I can't scratch it off, unfortunately, but you know, this is definitely a testament to the group that we've got here, the amazing strength of this community. And now we're going to go over to the presentation. So I'm going to stop sharing screen so that, Gordon, you can. Do you see a screen share button on your side, Gordon?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. We've got that there. So fantastic.
All right, over to you. I'm going to go on mute.
Awesome. So it's a great pleasure to be presenting to the Oz DeFi Association this evening. Myself and Thomas from Sydney, coming in from Thomas. How you doing, Thomas?
Oh, good. Hello. Very excited to be here. So thanks for allowing us to present.
Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, I'm from up in central Queensland, but do the rounds of Australia through the blockchain community. We're members of Blockchain Australia. So just a little bit about myself. I'm based in Agnes Water 1770, and we have a project up here called the Digital Playhouse Foundation. It's a charity, and we've got a couple of different arms: the School of Bitcoin, which got a grant from Stacks, the Stacks Foundation, to develop a Stacks community here, and Electra Frost, my co-founder, who's here with us tonight. She's got a group called Accountants on Chain, and I'm sure you're very familiar with Electra. So Thomas, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I was born in 1988. I arrived to Australia around 7 years ago. I was born in Argentina. Over there, the need for all this technology is very, very obvious. So it's what drove me to be an early adopter, and I've been working as an ambassador for the Rootstock blockchain for the last 3 years, and I am building an educational platform for people to learn how to use emerging technologies to become more independent, called the Independent Academy.
Yeah, Thomas, I've really enjoyed the last year with you. We were sort of just, guys, we're just going to have a bit of a chat and get some of you to be quite inclusive here. We don't want to do a death by PowerPoint. But yeah, I just, Thomas, over the last year, we've been, both of us have been building around the Bitcoin protocol, the Bitcoin blockchain. And yeah, it's sort of, we sort of sit in the middle between Bitcoin only and everything altcoins. So we're sort of in sort of down this lane, which is sort of like in this bit of a space of, sometimes feeling a bit of a space of our own. But there's been a lot going on this year. In fact, we've seen like pretty much a 10x growth in the development on Bitcoin. So pretty much started when the Taproot upgrade came to Bitcoin. So there's been a couple of upgrades to Bitcoin, the SegWit Witness, and then the Taproot upgrade. And with the Taproot upgrade came ordinals, and it just was about the same time that just brought a whole new light into Bitcoin. There was other layers that have been built on Bitcoin earlier, like Lightning Network started in 2015. The Blockstream company created Liquid, and Rootstock came along with their project, and Stacks is started off as Blockstack and became Stacks. So it's sort of like the big four, we call them almost, were there setting the pace. But in the last few months, things have really actually started to go nuts. So, and a lot of developments going on. So we do have a couple of slides here to move through a couple of things. So first of all, for those, although we all started with, I guess, the original blockchain being Bitcoin, we'll just talk a little bit about the actual limitations of Bitcoin, and I guess just the you know, about what the Bitcoin blockchain is. So I'll just share the slide, and I've just got host disabled participant from sharing. So if I could just get that fixed, Mark.
Hang on a second. There's always some tech thing, you know, people working in tech. You'd think that we'd sort this out. All right,
That's
try
okay.
try it now.
Oh yeah, great. Yeah, okay, so
All right, we can see it. Amazing.
yeah, hopefully you can see that okay. So first of all, we thought we'd just talk a little bit about the reasons as to why there's people building on Bitcoin. So Thomas, I think there's a couple of reasons that people are hanging around the Bitcoin blockchain. One of them is the amount of capital that's unlocked. So I've got just a couple of examples here as to the size of the amount of capital that's under the Bitcoin blockchain. But Thomas, there's other reasons, say for those that are in South America, that Bitcoin would be seen as super important. Do you want to share something with that with us?
Yeah, well, for most people, Bitcoin still remains like the main entry into the space, especially if you're looking from outside. People in places like Argentina and South America, they it's not like they can recognize all the different ecosystem for what they are. They see Bitcoin as being the flag of all this new technology and innovation. So it still represents like the main thing that people recognize, and building things on Bitcoin makes it easier to get people onboarded into the ecosystem.
Yeah, awesome. So one of the other things that I found of builders coming into the Bitcoin ecosystem is that after Ethereum went to proof of stake, there's a lot of developers that actually decided that they wanted to come and build on somewhere that was censorship resistant and still completely decentralized. You know, it's a contentious argument that some people we often have to cover at different meetups. But essentially, you know, Bitcoin is the censorship resistant chain, and it has the largest amount of unlocked capital. But there is so we'll just get into the challenges of Bitcoin. So Thomas, do you just want to cover a couple of the points about the Bitcoin blockchain?
Yes. I think most people are aware with the main issues that Bitcoin has, which is in many ways what created the need to develop different ecosystems, which is like you cannot do smart contracts directly on Bitcoin. The Bitcoin block is slow. The transaction fees can get expensive when a lot of people are using it. So for a long time, it was thought that in order to create something like DeFi, you needed a different blockchain. But with this idea of building in layers, we're starting to see a lot of this experimentation that happened in the altcoin space. Some of that is starting to come and find ways into Bitcoin, leveraging having this very robust, very simple, and very decentralized main layer as the settlement layer for all this new tech.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I guess when we look back in 2017, we would have seen the events like CryptoKitties. You know, there was a lot of competition for space in the blocks on the Ethereum blockchain. Fees got out of control. The chain became very slow. And it's not dissimilar to what's happening on Bitcoin now. Since the growth of ordinals, the cost of doing transactions on the Bitcoin blockchain, say, for example, have gone from 2 sats per VByte up to at times 300 sats per VByte. So, you know, we're talking over 100x in the cost of fees and delays in the blockchain. So that's where layer 2s come in, and that's we'll cover the layer 2s that are emerging on Bitcoin now. So I've got a slide here, and there's a great blog there for that anyone wants to read up about all the project comparisons. But there's four main I'm just trying to get my screen so everyone can see that. There's four main areas that, four main layers that are being built on Bitcoin. So there's a number of protocols that are being built on Bitcoin layer 1. There's also rollups, and there's off-chain networks and the blockchains. So I thought we'd just cover off on what most of us would know for starters, and that would be off-chain networks. So like in 2017, we saw the need for scaling payments on Bitcoin. So that's where the Lightning Network came in. And since then, we've seen not only the Lightning Network, but other protocols, off-chain networks being built around Lightning Network. one being ARC and RGB. Some of these have been in development for quite a long time, but they're competing for, you know, to bring applications to Bitcoin, but still very much in their development. I guess most of you would be familiar with the wallet of Satoshi and Lightning payments. So yeah, I think we'll move on to the next thing. So the protocol layers, since the inception of Taproots, like we said, the main thing that we've seen there is the growth in ordinals. But in addition to ordinals, there's covenants, drive chains, discrete log contracts. Many of you would have heard of Betty-Mint, I'd say, and also Sapio. But I think Mark promised that we'd share some things about ordinals tonight. So Mark, tell us about ordinals. What's the growth been like? You do lots of interviews. What's the vibe over on ordinals? I guess
Well,
maybe what are ordinals?
Well, when it started, right, it was a whole heap of, hey, what's this? It's all of a sudden you can do more than just transfer Bitcoin. It's now programming. It's the value that brought a lot of, say, developers like me into the space was the internet computer that Ethereum and other chains were. And what ordinals, even though there was a big focus on the NFT side of things, it really, for me, showcased what could be possible when it comes to doing more with Bitcoin and using the power of its blockchain to be able to unlock a lot more kind of value when it comes to what it can do. So to me, like ordinals just represented a new way and this new unlock. And I didn't mind that, you know, it's new, that there's going to be some issues, there's going to be some things that might be limited, but like we've seen with anything tech, the .com bubble to even early DeFi and learning about like NFTs and the issues we had with smart contracts, even Ethereum early on. So for me, ordinals, I don't know the exact kind of details there. We'll definitely have to, you know, do a podcast proper on that. But at least I know that there's like programmability as part of it. And yeah, so.
Yeah, awesome. So,
sorry.
That's
By
great.
the way, you've gotten rid of it. Sorry, there was just a little message on screen, but you've got it. So all good. I'll leave you to it.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not sure what that meant, but Thomas, so you've interviewed a lot of people around the ordinal space. What's happening over there?
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of raising interest. And one of the things that to me like excites me about ordinals is that we're starting to see a lot of the communities that got started in other chains because people, again, they thought it was impossible to create these digital artifacts on Bitcoin. And now they're coming back and they're starting to experiment with them. And there's some people that are doing a lot of interesting things that go beyond just NFTs and this kind of stuff. Like the Bison Labs team is trying to create a rollup and using ordinals as a way to inscribe the data into Bitcoin and try to derive their security from that mechanism. So you're starting to see like this technology was first used by very simple things, but now there's people that are looking at it and figuring out how can you use this for other interesting use cases.
Yeah, so for those that, just for a simple definition of ordinals, imagine a Satoshi that you can package up information like data and put it into an envelope attached to the Satoshi. And that data is immutably inscribed onto the, onto the Satoshi, would you call it, Thomas?
Yes. Like I think there's two different things. Like one is the inscription, which is just adding data into the blockchain, and then with the ordinals lens, you can sort of attach that data into a Satoshi, and that's what people use for trading. So yeah, you have those. Yeah, you have those two things, but just the ability to put data into the Bitcoin blockchain and to make sure that data, nothing's going to be able to erase that data. I think that opens the door for a lot of very interesting possibilities. There's people that are putting just entire books in the Bitcoin blockchain, and those books will exist as long as Bitcoin exists. So it's super interesting as a way of preserving data, not just transferring NFTs around, which is also cool.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty interesting projects where inscriptions have been done. For example, there was inscriptions of the WikiLeaks files into ordinals. It's a whole project. It's actually like a charitable project that they're doing to basically it's important to some people to keep that as a record in time. So Thomas, we talked a little about roll-ups. It's a really new space. For those here, we'd love to hear from if someone does know much about what's going on in the Bitcoin layer rollups. There's BitVM, Chainway, Sentinel Chains, Validity rollups, and Zero Sync. I know that the guys in the Bitcoin Startup-Lab that we hang out with there, I was speaking to one of them today, and he said, "Man, you've really got to check out what's going on at Bison Labs." And he knows a lot about Bitcoin and different layers, and so there's a lot of excitement about over there. It's super new though. So yeah, it's a whole new world for people to dive into. Did you want to make any comments on that, Thomas?
Yeah, I think of all the stuff that's happening, probably the one that's driving the most excitement is this idea of creating rollups, which is basically like creating another blockchain, and you can bundle all those transactions from this blockchain and put them into Bitcoin. And that is a very cost-efficient way of grabbing all the security that Bitcoin gives you. And the idea is that these rollups that you're creating, they can function in very different ways. So you can have a rollup that is EVM compatible, so you can do all the stuff that you're doing in Ethereum. There's people that are trying to create an SVM rollup to resemble something more like Solana. So for a lot of people, it represents the idea of that Bitcoin could potentially do everything that you can do in a different ecosystem, which is still, we're still waiting to see actual implementations. And for myself, I like to test things. So it is very exciting to learn what people are building, but I'm waiting to more tangible solutions. But we were talking about before the Bison Labs team, which are creating one of the first rollups using ordinals. They're starting to release the first working applications, and the BTC Startup-Labs created their own token, and they deployed it on the Bison Labs rollup, and they give it away to a bunch of the people that are working in the Bitcoin space, and I was able to claim some. And it's very interesting that it's getting very close to real use cases quite soon.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, there is opportunities for people that want to work in the Bitcoin startup ecosystem. The BTC Startup-Labs, we'll cover that a bit later, but if you want to participate, it's open to anyone. It's an extremely open community, and you can experience these things like getting the token. I got a bag of those the other day for doing some things for the community. Can't remember what's the name of the token we've got there.
The one the BTC did was Lab with two B's, Lab.
Yeah, Lab's cool. So it's sort of like it's I guess in the normal crypto world, it's like bring shitcoins to Bitcoin, is it?
Yeah, I think like social tokens, I think they get like a bad reputation, but I think they're an incredible tool to create community and create incentives for people to participate, feel like they have some sort of ownership. And I know that they have some people call them shitcoins and whatnot, and a lot of people use them in the wrong way. But I think they are incredibly powerful technology.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I think it's going to be super interesting. So part of that project was actually going, hey guys, we're building this stuff. We're going to use this stuff ourselves. We've actually got to do it. It's no use talking about it. Like, let's use it in our own ecosystem and see what we can do with that. So I took us down the slides there, so it's a bit more entertaining. We're going to get into talking about the actual blockchains that are layer 2s for Bitcoin. So the main blockchains that I see there that, like, let's just stick with 3 of them. There's Liquid, Rootstock, and Stacks. So my view of Liquid is that we've got a centralized company that's I'll just actually do one rewind. When we're talking about all these layer 2s of Bitcoin, what do we need them all for? It's because people want to do stuff with their Bitcoin other than just payments. But then the question is, when we go to any sort of layer, you know, there's going to be some trade-offs, because I'm going to get somebody to hold my Bitcoin to do something. So we might be familiar with wrap Bitcoin. You might be, you go to something like Liquid, which you're trusting a group of companies that are nominated to hold your Bitcoin as signers to lock and unlock your Bitcoin. And you go to Rootstock, which you'd have like a federated model. So you've got a chosen group of actors, might be in your own community. And Thomas will give us some expertise on this. It could be a group of people in different parts of the world, but they're actually holding and locking and unlocking your Bitcoin. And then we go to Stacks, and we'll just talk about what they're working on to bring us censorship as decentralized application as possible.
Were you trying to share something on your screen, Gordon? Because we've just lost it, or at least I can't.
Yeah, sure. I'll just bring that up again.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, so just before we get into it, just to have a look at the scope of the, can you guys see the whole screen there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically here's a bit of a map of what's going on in the Bitcoin ecosystem. So, you know, there's a lot happening, a lot of applications being built, probably way more than people may have thought. But we covered earlier the demand for the Bitcoin block space is mooning. That's why we need to bring these layers. So that's pretty much since ordinals came on. And we also I just covered briefly, more for you guys to read after that, when you're talking about building with layer 2s, there are going to be some considerations, and there will be different trade-offs in the different types of chains or networks that you use. So, you know, it's like the trade-offs that you get with Bitcoin. If you want more speed, you're going to give up you may become more centralized, or you may reduce the security. So, you know, the Bitcoin trilemma. But then when you come to the Bitcoin layer 2 as well, you're going to have some different things you'll want to consider. So there is a great article there without getting too much into that. That was just really for you guys to read afterwards. So we're all about unlocking Bitcoin. So I think at the US count somewhere around 800 billion. And given that we're Oz DeFi, I thought we'd just cover a couple of things about DeFi on Bitcoin. So I got some stats here recently off DeFi Llama, saying it's around 57 billion locked up in DeFi, about 133 billion in stable coins. So fairly substantial amount. And when we look around the different chains, Ethereum has the greatest amount locked up, and second being Tron. And then you can see over in these other parts of the ecosystems, everything's very small at the present time. Similar to, I guess, the market caps for those different blockchains. So when we get to Bitcoin, obviously we're 2.5 times the size of Ethereum. But then if we go and have a look at the amount of DeFi that's locked up in Bitcoin, we are very, very small. So wrapped Bitcoin on ETH is only around 8 billion. So considering there's like 57 billion, so what's that, about 15% is in Bitcoin. But in actual DeFi on Bitcoin with these new layered solutions, we're talking a very small amount. In fact, only about 1% of Bitcoin. So the chart that we've got there actually shows the different ecosystems that are working on these layers. So Interlay being at the bottom, and moving up to Stacks, and then Rootstock, and then different applications on Bitcoin itself. And some good articles there. You know, you can check out all the charts there. So I thought that's just to note, we're so super early. There's only 1% of Bitcoin that's in DeFi at the moment. So the question will be, you've got your Bitcoin, you want to do something with your Bitcoin other than just hodling it in your wallet and or using it on the Lightning Network. You want to interact with Web3 applications. And we can choose between these main companies that are building different layers. So the question is, who's holding it? How are they holding it? How secure am I? Will I get rugged? And the likes. So we'll I'll just skip through to let's get into Rootstock. Thomas He's an expert in Rootstock. He's been working on this for quite a few years now. Thomas, tell us all about Rootstock and what you've got going on there, and then take us into the main DeFi application. So I'll drop the screen for us. Unless you want to show something, you can share your screen.
Yeah, sure. So Rootstock, like Gordon was saying, is a sidechain. It's EVM compatible, so it uses Solidity as a programming language, and that way it's very interoperable with all the Ethereum-like applications. And the way in which the main currency that it uses is BTC, so you don't need another currency to pay for fees. But like Gordon was saying, when you bridge from the main chain into a side chain, like it's no longer BTC. So on Rootstock you have RBTC, which is the representation of Bitcoin in the Rootstock blockchain. So what you're essentially doing is you're locking Bitcoin into a multi-sig in the Bitcoin blockchain, and you're issuing this RBTC in the Rootstock blockchain. And when you do the inverse process, you're burning the RBTC and you're unlocking BTC. So again, as Gordon was asking, okay, who's holding the Bitcoin? Who controls this multi-sig? And how can I make sure that they can't steal my Bitcoins? And the Rootstock team, the federation that created Rootstock is called IOB Labs. And they created a really interesting system where there is a federation of publicly known people, but instead of being like Liquid, where you have to trust that these people are gonna keep their word, let's just say, what they do is they have a device called the HSM, the hardware security module. And the HSM is open source, both the firmware and the hardware. And there is attestations being published so that we can check that this open source is what they are running. And the HSM is processing these transactions that are coming in and out of Rootstock in an automatic way. So even the people that hold this device, they cannot tamper with it, and they cannot mess with the system. The only thing that they can do is either cut the internet or cut their power. So in order to use Rootstock in a, we don't say it's trustless, we say it's trust minimized way. You only need to trust that enough people will be running these devices, and they will have both power and connection to the internet. Rootstock got launched in 2018, and it's been running uninterruptedly until now. And every single time, there's more and more efforts to make the process as trust minimized as possible. We are waiting for the technology of rollups to get a bit better, so that eventually rollups have that promise of the fully trustless bridge. We can't get there now, and so we are creating the best system we have with the technology available. One very interesting thing for me is that Rootstock got started in Argentina, the same as where I was born. And it got started with this idea of there's a lot of places in the world that need solutions that the traditional system does not give them. So we're going to create them using Bitcoin. So the first solution that Rootstock created was a Bitcoin-backed stablecoin, and that gave anyone in any place in the world the ability to just put some Bitcoin in and create this stablecoin. And it's fully decentralized. It's governed by a DAO called Money on Chain. I worked with that team for a number of months. I think it's an incredible product, just the ability to hold dollars and not having to be depending on, like, if you have USDC, you know that Circle is holding assets for you. If you are holding USDT, it's the same with Tether. So having something that exists completely on chain, and you can audit the entire system on a quick glance, and you can see, okay, there's this many stablecoins being issued, this many Bitcoin backing them. The system is good. I can trust it. I can do that instantly, fully transparently. Like, that is incredible. And after we created the first Bitcoin-backed stablecoin, the next thing was, okay, we're going to create a lending product. So now you can deposit this stablecoin and earn an interest. For a lot of people in Latin America, this changes everything for them. And then we had a very big team called Sovereign that came and they created a trading platform. And now they created a protocol called Zero, which is a way to lock Bitcoin in and again issue these stable coins and pay 0% interest, which is wild. You have to pay an origination when you create the loan, but after you create the loan, you don't have to keep paying fees, which is very interesting as a use case. And you can do decentralized trading, like kind of like you can do on Uniswap. So we're starting to recreate all these interesting tools that people in Ethereum have been experimenting with and creating really good products, but doing it through a sidechain of Bitcoin. And the last thing I'll say about Rootstock, because I don't want to take too much time, but that is very important, is that Rootstock uses a process called merge mining, which means that the blocks on Rootstock are much faster than that of Bitcoin. But in every Bitcoin block, Rootstock grabs information from the blockchain and puts it in the block, and it pays the miners in Bitcoin. So every time that you're using the Bitcoin sidechain, you're actually paying the miners in the Bitcoin blockchain. So you're making Bitcoin, the security budget of Bitcoin is stronger the more people use Rootstock. And that keeps both ecosystems very aligned, because Rootstock uses Bitcoin as a main currency, drives the security from Bitcoin, and it pays the miners as well. So that's Rootstock in a nutshell.
We just had a question come through quickly from Andre. What's the size of the block?
That is a good question. I don't know it at the top of my head. If you go to rootstock.io, I'm sure you'll be able to find all that info.
Thank you. Yeah, I will check it out, because I think the size of the block, that's the main problem in this blockchain space. Because let's say Bitcoin has 8 megabytes and they just prolong it to maybe 32 megabytes, so they can store, for example, 20,000 transactions in a block in a certain amount of time. But it's crucial to make bigger blocks so you can get more unspent transactions and outputs and inputs. So it's better to use, I don't know why they build chains like with small blocks. I don't get it. It's just for the space. You can store it on some kind of external database. So
yeah. I think that the key issue of scalability, that's something that is very important, and it's
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Cool. So some of the guys from from OzDeFi here, I know that Mark, you were talking about we could have some questions in that at the end, but curious to see, are anyone from OzDeFi Association, are you building anything? Is there anyone here that's actually building anything on Rootstock? Familiar with Rootstock, or that have some questions, that might want to share or have some questions for Thomas?
Let's see the crowd, if anyone wants to, just open up and ask some questions. I'm just going back through the chat to see if there was anything else.
Yeah, and just to add, very, very recently, only a couple days ago, the Uniswap community did a voting on which chain they should deploy next, and Rootstock got chosen. So we're expecting to see Uniswap coming to Rootstock soon.
Yeah, I did see that application that's being developed. I thought that was there already a Uniswap-like application being built, but
I'll go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that first there was another product that they created Uniswap contracts in Rootstock called Oku Trade, but now it's the actual Uniswap community. They decided to come to Rootstock full on. So hopefully that will make it easier to make it more interoperable with the rest of the crypto ecosystem, hopefully.
Wow, it's very interesting. Very interesting there. So yeah, I think if we're done on Rootstock there, we'll just move over to Stacks.
I think we had a quick question maybe from
Oh,
Andre.
sure.
I saw a hand up. Andre?
Yeah, I had a question for these smart contracts. I'm Solidity dev. I was the Solidity developer, so I know Solidity in genuine. So basically, what I wanted to ask is that smart contracts which are on Rootstock, they are written in Solidity. They are .sol files, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what they do, for example, Rootstock is layer. So are they interacting with the core of the Bitcoin network? Are they changing the state of the Bitcoin network, or they are changing the state of Rootstock network? Are they interacting with Bitcoin? No, yeah, it's not
No,
possible.
the only way, the only time you interact with the Bitcoin blockchain is when you're bridging in and out. But like I said, the data of what's happening on Rootstock gets included into the block itself. But for the Bitcoin miner, that piece of data makes no sense. You know,
So
it's only for Rootstock to check, basically.
not like a first Coinbase transaction, what is on the Bitcoin, that's a minor
Exactly.
transaction. So it's not inputted inside of the block, no. It's just
Um,
around, the data is around, is a layer around. So it doesn't interfere with the Bitcoin state, yeah.
it doesn't interfere. It's just like a normal. It looks like a normal transaction. It just has a bunch of data that for the miner it makes no sense and it plays no difference.
Okay. So then data is stored in ABI, the code, yeah?
Yeah,
By
yeah.
Okay, cool, yeah. Just want to add that. Thank you.
No worries.
Great question. We'll go to Gordon next. I think we're going to go back to sharing screen and go back to stacks, I think.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. That's awesome. Yeah, so I just wanted to, I know that Thomas didn't have a graphical description of the merge mining for Rootstock, but I do have one here for Stacks. So Stacks uses a proof of transfer consensus mechanism. So basically how it works is that miners that want to mine Stacks have to spend Bitcoin to win the right to mine a block. And the miner that wins the block, they get paid in stacks, but the stackers that are stacking the stacks, or staking if you want to call it, they actually receive native Bitcoin. So if I've got a bag of stacks, I stack my stacks, I receive Bitcoin rewards. You sort of go, well, why would the miners spend Bitcoin? Why don't they just keep their Bitcoin? Well, there's obviously an economic incentive for them to do so. And that's why they do. So it's called proof of transfer. And what happens with each block at the present time, each block of stacks has the same time to settle its transactions as Bitcoin, because it's directly connected to Bitcoin. So each transaction is recorded in the finality of the Bitcoin block. So where are we? So yeah, so what we're actually, the next iteration for stacks is that before the halving, we'll be looking to have the Nakamoto upgrade. I didn't put that in the slides here. So the Nakamoto upgrade will bring faster transactions, so more stacks blocks into that will be ultimately have the security and settlements in the Bitcoin blocks. And yeah, we'll basically get out the test nets at the moment are showing that we'll have around 5-second transactions. So we're in the final couple of weeks for the SIP for that. So like on Bitcoin, you have the Bitcoin improvement protocols, the Bitcoin improvement proposals. On Stacks, we've got the SIPs, which is the Stacks improvement proposals. And we're about 2 weeks away from that being voted by the community as to whether all the technicalities of the upgrade of the chain will take place. So after that, we're moving towards SBTC, which is our own mechanism for locking and unlocking Bitcoin. So that's what they are calling as trustless pegs. So the guys that started Stacks have been around Bitcoin for a very long time, right back from the beginning. Manib Ali, they hung out with the guys from Ethereum and the likes, and they all observed different things that were happening when Ethereum was created, and they went their own path to see what they could do on Bitcoin. So I've just included some slides here where all the tech is there for anyone that wants to read up on that. And it's actually a protocol which will use a SIP10 token to form a trustless peg. So by that, what we mean is that we're going to operate where all of the stackers of the stacks will be the signers and unsigners for the for your Bitcoin that's being held. So what you'll be able to do with SBTC is you will be able to bring native Bitcoin into the Stacks ecosystem. You'll just park it into the SBTC protocol through your wallet, and you won't have to change it into like a wrapped BTC or anything. It'll automatically do that for you. There's no costs associated, no fees associated with that. And you'll be able to use your native Bitcoin across the ecosystem of Stacks and all the applications in Stacks. So for a Bitcoiner, they don't want to buy a token, they don't want to swap, but they want to use their Bitcoin in DeFi and the likes. They'll be able to just park their Bitcoin. They don't have to think about swapping or wrapping or bridging or anything. It'll just be done automatically for you. So that's just a little bit about SBTC. So Stacks as itself has, I've included a couple links here of some of the major DeFi applications that are being built on Stacks. So Alex Go has been around about 2 years. Now they've just had their second birthday. It's done very well in the growth in its ecosystem. You're able to mint your own coins on Alex Go, and there's a bunch of new protocols that are coming out and that are in early stage developments. Bitflow Finance, they just raised $1.2 million the other day. Vela, I think in the next couple of days will announce possibly something like a couple of $1 million raise. And Hermetica Fi and UASU are very early day. There's also a protocol called Zest Protocol, and one of our VCs in Australia has invested in them. So, there are some people that have got a lot of good belief as to what's happening over on Stacks. So I just, there's plenty of docs to dive in there. So I guess that Thomas and I are very active in the community. We are out there to assist any developers, any founders, and any community builders that want to work with us on building Rootstock up and Stacks up. We've got a number of opportunities. So the different programs that we have, obviously with Rootstock being EVM compatible, Solidity developers are able to develop in there quite easily. For Stacks, we actually have a different smart contract called Clarity. On the 13th of February, I'll be doing an event with 4 of Brisbane's top developer houses, including Labries, DLTX, Sphere 10, and who's the other? And we've got someone from Stacks. And we're going to be having a bit of a debate between Solidity, Anchor, which is used for Solana, and Clarity. So we want to bring some clarity to smart contracts. And so that event will be a Zoom meetup on the 13th of February. So we'll post that out, and hopefully all of the Oz DeFi Association will join in. I'm sure with Lucas and Herman and the crew there, it's going to be a fun evening. There'll be plenty of hot debate about different things about smart contracts. But we've also, Thomas and I have been working around the Bitcoin Startup-Lab ecosystem. So way back in our slides there, I'll just bring them up there again. If we can just share that again, Mark.
Yep, it's back on now. Go ahead.
Yeah, cool. I'll just share something which I think is a really interesting slide. I'll just have to zoom back up to the start here. So if we just have a look here, this is 1 year ago, Thomas and I joined the Bitcoin Startup-Lab. We're bringing in different developers, founders that had ideas. The Bitcoin Startup-Lab is really for people. It's a pre-accelerator which sorts out whether you really have the qualities to be a founder. So they want to sort out, see if you've got the miles to build a 10-year roadmap for a company. They help you come in and form a team. You won't get funded if you don't have a team. And 1 year ago, there was at the demo day, the end of the demo day, there was 8 investors and 1 accelerator. So the last demo day there was 30 investors and 4 accelerators that you could go into. And this one that's closing in March, I think the pitch day is on March 15th. They're expecting up to 60 investors. And for those startups that come through that, they'll have a choice, they are saying, of up to possibly 10 accelerators. So one of the notable accelerators that have come into the ecosystem is Outlier Ventures. I'm sure many of you would be familiar with them. They're powerhouse in the space of development of Web3. They've got an accelerator that's, I think, starting in February. So the one that we work with most of the time is the Bitcoin Frontier Fund. And for the Bitcoin Frontier Fund, they've invested in 30 Bitcoin startups now. Yeah, and it's quite incredible. So the growth has actually been 10x over 12 months here. So I'll just cruise through to our other parts here. Yeah, so pretty much that's what I had to share tonight. And Thomas, I think, and it was really just about, for those that wanted to connect with us, if you're interested in building on Bitcoin, we have that Bitcoin ethos. We're not Bitcoin maxis. We just believe in having the most decentralized, censorship-resistant, strongest chain in the network with the most capital underneath us. That's sort of what we're interested in building on.
Amazing.
Yes.
You said it there before, and I'll get back to you, Thomas, but I think one of you said, or maybe even in the audience, like, if it's EVM compatible, it's easy for people who have already been building to come along to this. And, with the likes of ChatGPT, if you're a developer in something else, you can really quickly learn this space. So anyway, back over to you, Thomas. That's really good.
Yes, like you said, the guy who was the mastermind behind Rootstock, he was an early developer for Bitcoin and an early developer for Ethereum. And he was like, how can I combine these two very powerful technologies and very powerful communities and get them to build something in conjunction? But yes, I was going to say, like Gordon, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi. I try all ecosystems, and I just look at the space like these are all tools, and I'm going to grab the best tool for what I can do. And I think in Bitcoin, there's a lot of tools, and it's a place to pay attention because I think there's a lot more coming.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. So yeah, for Stacks in Australia, our mission at the moment is to bring on 50 smart contract developers. We've had 20 go through our training program. We've got something that we're rolling out with the university in Queensland on the Gold Coast. We'll be making some announcements soon if that all comes together, which I'm pretty confident will, which will bring actual smart contract learning to that university. So really learning the actual languages. For Clarity, which is the smart contract layer for Stacks, it is a newer language. It is clearer. You can read it. It's actually what it says. What it's written is what it is. And you can also determine your fees quite easily. So there's some, but we'll get into that debate on the and share that more on the 13th at our next event. But yeah, Mark, if we've got any questions, I'm happy to take any questions at all from anyone.
Yeah, does anyone want to type any questions, or just turn off their mute and just come up? Feel free. We've got about 10 minutes for question time, folks. Oh, there we go. Dean, feel free.
Thank you. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we've got you there, Dean.
Okay, beautiful. Just a question, if I could ask, around the long-term security model of not just Bitcoin, but really any proof of work chain. So as the Coinbase reward kind of trends towards zero over the long term, say 50 years, the transaction fee has to go up to pay for the network security, right? Who's going to use a high fee chain like Bitcoin versus the cheaper chains that are out there? And people usually say, well, Bitcoin is the hardest blockchain, but over the next 50 years, that hardness will get smaller and smaller compared to the next guys, Ether and Solana and whoever else is next in the list. So what's Bitcoin's security model long term?
Yeah, I think the main idea behind all these sidechains and rollups is the ability to do that, to bundle a bunch of transactions in a place where you pay less fees, but then bundle them all together and put them as one transaction in Bitcoin. And that like increase the fee, like by using all these sidechains and rollups, all this means more money for the miners.
So are you talking about like stacks? Is that considered a roll up?
I think Rootstock is not a rollup, it's a sidechain, but it's the same principle. All the activity that happens in Rootstock, that all those fees, they get paid to the Bitcoin miners.
Yeah, and if I can comment on that one, Dean. So yeah, look, it's a big part of the conversation. Manib Ali that created Stacks. Like how we got into Stacks was we're just interested in doing interesting things on Bitcoin other than just payments, and that's when we came across Stacks and thought it was pretty interesting. So that's where I went down the rabbit hole. But creating economies on Bitcoin. So if we're now enabling Bitcoiners to bring their Bitcoin as it grows in value over time, which it has been for the last 15 years, and if it continues to do so, then they're going to want to eventually do something with their Bitcoin. So if they do, economies are being created on Bitcoin. So if there's more transactions on Bitcoin through payments, and there's more transactions through DeFi, other applications, there's many different applications that are being built across all sorts of things. And then you've got the ordinals protocols and a plethora of other protocols. Everyone's going to be competing for the Bitcoin blocks. And so the transaction fees will rise, yes. But then you'll be able to do transactions on layers, just like Bitcoin Lightning. The Lightning Network is basically, it's got a very low fee. These other layers will be low fee areas, and then they'll settle on the Bitcoin blockchain. So I hope that answers the question.
Go ahead, Dean.
No, I was just clapping my hands. Sorry, I wasn't right. That's a good explanation. I guess that if you look at the layer 2s on like Ether, the money they're making from the fees they generate and what they pay to Ethereum, they're making money. So that model does tend to work. Yeah,
it'll have to be an economic model that works, or it won't survive. And I think the guys at Stacks, the economic side, that model of that layer 2 is there and it's well understood. So yeah, I guess I'm fairly high level in that sense of my education around it, and so but from the experts in the space, that's pretty much the core building economies on Bitcoin.
What are some of the coolest kind of, I don't see any hands up, so I'm just going to ask. What are some of the coolest things that you've seen, even though it might be early stage, and like we saw with many other kind of chains, things were early stage before you started getting more mainstream usage. But what are some of the really interesting things for both of you, Gordon and Thomas, that you're seeing being built in this space?
Thomas, you want to go first?
All right. So one of the really cool protocols that have been developed, particularly on Rootstock, which again is early stages, is experimental. I think there's a lot of things to adjust to get it to work as efficient as possible. But it is this idea that you can lock your Bitcoin, you can issue stablecoins against those Bitcoins, and then you can just do whatever you do with your life. And it doesn't matter if the price of Bitcoin goes up 20, 50 times. You only need to put back those initial dollars that you took out. So it's basically a 0% loan against your Bitcoin, which sounds crazy. I think the current implementations, they're a bit complicated to use, and you have to be a very heavy DeFi user in order to take advantage of it. But if you can create that and make it simpler for everyday people to use, that would unlock all the potential that Bitcoin has. Because a lot of the potential that Bitcoin has now is just people are buying and holding because nobody wants to sell it. So if you can use the value of your Bitcoin without selling it, that would be a game changer.
Yeah, nice. So I'd like to share a couple. First of all, there's Zero Authority DAO, so creating a gig economy. It's a very new application that's come out. It's been being built for quite some time, but some really experienced devs that have been around for quite, really OGs, 10 years or so in the space. So Zero Authority DAO, I'd encourage everyone to check it out. If you do sign up, it's like building a reputation on-chain, building an on-chain reputation. So I'm not sure what applications there are on Solana or ETH already for that. You'll be able to launch DAOs in there as well at some point. There's a mechanism there that you can actually tip each other, a bit like the Lightning tipping network. So I check that out. If you do sign up or do get onto Zero Authority DAO, I think today there is some airdrops going on if that's your thing. I think that would be the long-term governance. The other one that we're actually Stacks Australia moving over to is Console DAO. So Console DAO is like a decentralized Discord. I know that when LawFi DAO was happening, they actually moved over to Console for a bit when Joni Pirovic was creating, working on the pilot project there for LawFi DAO. They actually set up in Console. So some of those, I think we'd call them like sufficiently decentralized. So, you can't be completely, but they're interesting applications. There's another one called Block Survey, and I would encourage everyone, I'll just grab that link for that one. Block Survey is like a very private, is a private, what's the Google question? You send out a Google form. So yeah, it's a decentralized Google form. So I believe your data is completely safe in there. We're using that for, in fact, if you go to the Stacks website and want to have a chat with me about building on Stacks at all, you can go there and just choose whether you're a developer or a founder, and you can go to the Block Survey. Just click on one of that's on the Stacks Australia website. I'll drop that link for you. You can go in there and just try out Block Survey. If you want to join Block Survey, give a shout out to us, and we'll see if we can get you, especially startups, could probably get you a good deal with the guys there. In fact, you'll probably get 12 months free. The other one that we use is Sigil, which is a Web3 application for writers. So that's a cool one that we're using as well. So there's a couple of hot applications. Besides that, the DeFi apps that are coming out, yeah, I mean, we're sort of super excited because this stuff's getting built rapidly. They're all just getting their funding. So, anyone that's been around this space, when you're coming into the bull market, the money's coming out, and there's jobs coming in. As these startups grow, from being just a couple of founders, and then they need teams, they need marketing people. They then need venture houses to help them build stuff that they can't build fast enough themselves. So it's pretty exciting for us in this space at the moment.
We'll definitely have to hit you up there because people that we know that should be building and checking this out, and even stuff that we're doing at Not Centralized, like we did an EVM compatible ZK, not for rollups, but for security. So yeah, we'll definitely check it all out. So amazing stuff, and right on time as well. Thank you so much. One of my co-conspirators, Arturo, whenever he comes up on stage, is never on time. We always go over and stuff. So I'm glad that, he's predisposed, but Nick and some of the other crew are here. We're going to jump over now to our sponsor presentation from Stables, get an update from them. But for now, Gordon and Thomas, please stay along if you can. People may have questions. No doubt there'll be some things thought of. When this recording goes out as well, folks, later this week on our YouTube, we'll put the links in there too. Okay, so we'll sort all of that out. But Gordon, Thomas, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. All right.
No worries. Thank you.
No worries.
Mark, thanks so much for having us on. Really, really enjoyed the space with you guys this evening.
Absolutely. We'll get Liam from Stables coming up. Liam, are you in the audience? I've seen a few of the others.
Yeah, that should be my screen sharing now as well.
Yep, we can see it. Amazing. The floor is yours, sir. Good to see you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. And yeah, that was an awesome prezo. So yeah, awesome. Appreciate that, Gordon and Thomas. The Bitcoin stuff's been popping off, so it's cool to sort of hear what's going on in that world at the moment. Can you see the slides now? Sorry, Mark.
Yep, absolutely. I think everyone see that.
Awesome. Look, won't keep everyone too long. This will just be, I think it's 2 or 3 slides. But for those who might not be familiar with us, we're Stables, Stables.money. My name's Liam. I'm one of the 2 marketing managers at Stables. We've grown over Christmas and the New Year, which is super exciting. We're now a team of, I think, 25 across Sydney and Melbourne now. So we are a stablecoin wallet. We're partnered with MasterCard. So if you've got any USDC, USDT, and you want to go and spend it in your day-to-day, or you want to just on-ramp it or off-ramp it to and from your bank account, that's where we sort of come in. So every month we sort of send a bit of a community update. I think the last time we joined in the Oz DeFi meetup was back in November. So since then, what sort of happened? We hit an all-time high for card spending over Christmas and New Year's, which was super exciting. I think we actually had someone purchase a Tesla in December with their card. So, they'd obviously been doing quite well in maybe with some Bitcoin ordinals, some NFTs, whatever it was. But that was super exciting. And just from like a product update lens, every couple of weeks we're always tweaking and adding some stuff in there. So you used to have to go to customer support to edit your personal details. We've now sort of streamlined that, so it's all in-app for phone number and residential address. In terms of Stables and Oz DeFi, we've got some exciting stuff that we're sort of cooking up in the background. Mark did an excellent interview of Kirsty, who's our product design lead at Stables. That was an awesome episode. I think he shared that on LinkedIn and through the newsletter. But we're really stoked and really pumped that we're going to be actually doing a 5-part series as sort of a powered by Stables podcast sort of season. So look out for that. That'll probably be late February, so it'll probably be the March meetup. We can sort of do a bit of a rewind on that and sort of the first, second episode that start dropping. That should be really exciting. And if there's anyone sort of keen to be a part of conversations, feel free to sort of reach out to Mark, myself, Ash, the rest of the Stables team, because we're really excited to sort of get some cool cross sections of really like what's going on in the crypto space, in the crypto world, and how that's sort of tangibly affecting what people are doing at the moment within sort of crypto. This is something we're really pumped about, and this is actually the first time we're sort of putting any of this out there to sort of show anyone, but this is a sneak peek of a big release that we've been working on at Stables for months now. So very, very shortly, and we don't have an exact date or time frame, but hopefully in the next sort of month or two, we'll actually be launching card on-ramps globally. So what that will mean is at the moment we support stablecoin top-ups. So if you've got the DAI, USDC, Tether, or PayPal USD, you can actually send that to Stables and we'll hold that balance for you in USDC. You can then go and spend that. You can send it, bridge and swap, whatever you'd like to do. You can money transfer in via your bank account. You can pay ID in. But for everyone else in the world, they've sort of been going, what can I do? How can I use Stables? And so that will mean no matter where you are in the world, if you're in Australia, if you're in Canada, if you're in the UK, if you're in the US, if you're in Japan, 150 currencies we will support fiat in via a local bank debit card. So that will really mean that, Stables ends up overnight becoming relevant to a bunch more countries than what we currently are. For those of you that have sort of been across it, in October we launched into the Philippines with Peso off-ramp, which was a really powerful launch for us, sort of product-wise, but also utility-wise. A lot of the GameFi players, within the Philippines, Axie Infinity, these kinds of things. So that was a really exciting off-ramp that we were able to launch, but this will actually enable a lot of people to get involved in crypto. I'm doing some yield farming on Solana. A lot of the protocols are looking for ways to get people to be able to get stable coins or just crypto in general onto their protocols, onto their DApps, onto their DEXs, whatever it is. And this will be a really cool, super easy way that people will actually be able to go from fiat in their bank account and sort of actually introduce that and get that into the crypto world. I think this is pretty much one of our last slides. We just launched a sort of hashtag Spend Stables campaign last week. So we've got about 10 to 12 entries. We've got 3 people that will win. So the odds are in everyone's favor right now, but we've had some really cool entries on our Twitter. All you have to do if you've got a Stables card, take a screenshot of you spending it, take a photo of you tapping, whatever it is. We've had someone who thinks they might take out the $200 million lotto tomorrow night. We've had some sushi rolls. We've had a bunch of other things in between of people sort of tapping their Stables card and spending it. So if you want to get involved, 3 winners within the next 3 weeks, 25 USDC each. All you have to do is tag Stables and do the hashtag Spend Stables. And that's it from us. So look, appreciate it. I hope that wasn't too much of your time, but look, if you ever have any questions, hit us up at our handle, Stables Money. I'll drop a little link in the Zoom sort of chat after this as well. But as always, we really appreciate, Mark, the sort of 5 minutes that we get every so often at these meetups. But a lot of us in the office as well, we're very much part of this community too. So if you ever do want to hit us up and ask some questions, we're always keen for that as well.
Liam,
Amazing.
just a quick question.
ahead.
I just wanted to find out, I was in contact with Erez before, but I just wanted to find out if you've moved any further with regards to integrating Hedera.
Yeah, so look, we launched Solana in December. That was the sort of additional chain that we'd added into the mix after the 7 EVM chains that we support. The card on ramp right now is the big priority, but in tandem in the background, that's very much a sort of focus for us. So if you want to hit me up offline, we can definitely continue the conversation. But yeah, I think the ultimate goal is we would be supporting as many blockchains as feasible. So yeah, definitely still very much part of the plans.
Sounds good. I'll send you a message.
Thanks, Ronan. Appreciate
When Algorand USDC, according to Hamish.
it. When soon? I think this is the thing is, yeah, it's the louder you ask, the more we hear. So it's very true. Solana was, I think, the loudest, and obviously that was something, narrative wise where it made a lot of sense late last year to sort of turn that on. And it's not like we're holding back and turn these things on. It does take sort of the dev work to get it there, but we're very much keen and excited to add as many blockchains as we can, and we're not sort of just waiting around for it. So please keep tagging us. I manage a lot of the Twitter side of things too. So if I'm sitting in the office and you guys are tagging us when Algo, when Hedera, when Tron, it's very much heard. So yeah, coming soon.
I think there was a question also from on
yes.
In the you got that? You can read it out, Nick.
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. I was just going to flag. You saw it as well. Because it gets lost really quickly in the chat. That's all. So, but no, Dean had the question. Dean had a
Just
question
going
on
up
minimum.
to see if I can see it.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, Mac. Yeah, max transaction. Yeah.
Yeah, max transactions 5,000. Dean had a question on that. If there's a way.
Yeah. So I think. Yeah, and look, I think that's our default. If you want to ever go a bit higher, I think that max transaction is on purchases. So if you want to sort of on or off ramp larger amounts, just hit us up in our in-app chat, and we can definitely facilitate larger amounts there too.
Music to my ears. And then a question on to use the stable MCD on iPhone. Is one obliged to use Apple Pay or Google Pay?
Yeah, so what you'll actually get is a sort of like a lot of the banks do now. You'll get your virtual card details in app. If you then want to add that to your Android phone with Google Pay or add it to your iPhone with Apple Pay, you can then do so. So you can then make the in-store purchases too. But we have a bunch of people that don't provision it. They like to just keep it as the sort of digital card in their app and use that for sort of Uber Eats, Amazon, those kinds of things too. And then we have equally a bunch of people that just love tapping for their Woolies, going grocery shopping, coffees in the morning, and so on. So yeah, it's very much a, choose your own adventure when it comes to spending your crypto.
There was another question. Nick's changed his face there, but I think Rosa had a question on a BTC backed tier 1 banking model potentially, but I think it was a joke question judging by the laughter. And judging from...
I think that was for the previous one.
Fantastic.
All good.
Well, if people want to reach out, what's the best way, to get in contact with you guys?
Yeah, so I've just dropped our in the chat there. I think a couple of people just saw that. So yeah, stables.money is the URL. I'll also drop our link tree that'll take you to literally all our socials as well. We are very early stages in launching our Instagram and TikTok. So feeling very out of our depth in the TikTok zone, but we will get there. So we will start actually dropping some bi-weekly videos on that too. So we are going to sort of just have some general market updates on those too. So yeah, feel free to chuck us a follow. Twitter is our main channel. We've got a fairly active Telegram and Discord. And then, yeah, we're also sort of spreading the tentacles into other social media channels, but I'll just drop that link trees now in the chat as well if you do want to follow us on any of your preferred social media channels. Looking forward to the TikTok dances from yourself, Kirsty, especially Erez and
Bernie and Ash and all the others.
Yeah, we've had Ariel interning for the last month, so you'll definitely see him featuring after this week. Yeah.
I had coffee with Ariel today, so you know I'm looking forward to the dances. We were practicing in Martin Place, but anyway, enough of that. We'll see it on Instagram, I'm sure. Thank you so much.
Awesome. We'll appreciate that, Mark. Appreciate that all. And as I say, yeah, we'll stay in the chat here for the rest of the night. But the link tree is there, the website's there. So yeah, go nuts. And if you got any questions, reach out.
Fantastic. I'm just taking over slideshow. Can you guys see the slideshow on my end?
Yeah, we gotcha.
Okay, cool. So we come to that part of the night now where we're going to go around the room to just say good day to some of the awesome folks that are leading the charge. Oh, what's happened there? I might have clicked on something. It went to the link tree. Meet some folks from around Australia who are leading the charge across the space. Do you guys see the slide that says community intros? Is that on your screen? Okay, fantastic. So I'll start off in Sydney, and he's been in the chat. You saw one of the other ones there before, but our chapter lead for Sydney, Nick Bishop, are you there?
Hello. Yes, I am.
Hello. I'll go back to the not sharing screen 1 sec so people can see your lovely mug.
Oh, they don't need to. Definitely don't need to see me. No, hello everyone. Good to see folks again. Good turnout. We had like 50 odd people today, which is good, and awesome content from everyone. The Bitcoin space has been so interesting since Ordinals really kind of like anyone who'd sort of not forgotten about Bitcoin, but anyone who'd sort of been focused on all the various ETH related and sort of alt chain related stuff. I think Ordinals just like refocused back attention on this almost dusty, semi-forgotten corner of OG blockchain world. So that was really good to get that update. Yeah, not a huge amount from me other to say, you know, thanks Mark for getting the year kicked off. And we've got a lot of, I think 40, isn't it? We've effectively got 40 in real life meetups planned for this year in various, at least. And that's thanks to sponsors like CloudTech and everyone who's returning sponsoring us again from previous years. So that's pretty cool. And we're always on the lookout for little exclusives, little, edgy content, bits of alpha drops. Stables have been great at that. And so there's a few things we're looking forward to announcing in the next couple of months. Had an amazing conversation with a project that's going to be launching its effectively live protocol in the next month or so with one Aussie-based co-founder. That's a really, really interesting liquidity aggregation play. So hopefully looking forward to talking about that. That's about it really. And Leah, shame you had to hop off.
Yeah, it is a shame that Leah had to go. So we'll speak on her behalf. So Leah loves everything that we do. We never go wrong. Leah's amazing. So you'll see her at the events. She's the co-lead with Nick for our Sydney chapter. And it's where we all started, folks. We grew from a small group of 20 to a couple of hundred on Discord and more. And it wouldn't be without the help of folks like Nick. Sometimes Arturo, who's not here, he's busy coding. But we do great things despite being anchored by Arturo. But it's okay. He will see this later on. So no Leah, but let's jump over. I think we've got Jake. Jake Denny, are you in the crowd?
I'm indeed.
There we go. Jake. Oh, what a wonderful mustache. 10 points. Gryffindor. How's it going?
Thank you. No, very, very good. Was in Sydney last night with Nick and a few other folks for the Fireblocks event, which was excellent. But back in Newcastle now. So obviously Newcastle's a much sleepier town than Sydney. But we do have a small community here of people who are sort of deep in the space and caring about that. And so we are going to launch our first event in 2024. It'll be a bit more of a casual event as opposed to sort of the updates that we expect to do when we'll be bringing in some guests and building that audience in time. But there's a couple of good projects that are based out of Newcastle, and there's a couple of founders that have sneakily made their way up here to the beach town and like to remain a little off the grid in Newcastle. So there is a community there and it's building. And we're going to start running a bunch of events in Newcastle where we can bring people together and they can talk crypto in a safe environment. All things crypto, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all welcome, Solana. But yeah, really great presentations today, everyone. So thanks very much for sharing. Really, really cool to see everything going on, and more exciting that so much of this stuff is coming out of Australia. It's pretty awesome. Stacks and stables are kicking ass, and it's really good to see. So congrats, everyone, and thank you.
Fantastic. And you've got a co-conspirator, Clint. I'm not sure if Clint's in the room today, but yeah, definitely Clint's one of the leaders up there with you. You guys have done, yeah.
Clint will be at the meetups. He unfortunately couldn't make tonight, but he will definitely be. And I'll actually share the link to the meetup for the Newcastle events in this chat here. So everybody who is interested or is in or around the area, feel free to come and join us when we post that new date.
Fantastic. But definitely please share it. And just to answer a question that was in the chat, but yeah, Liam answered it. So thank you. See, it's decentralized answering, folks. You don't even need ChatGPT. But this is put on YouTube. I'll try to do it tonight, if not the latest by Friday. And what basically will happen, there'll be a whole heap of links and stuff there. And yeah, you can check it all out from what's being said today, how to get in touch with each of the speakers, their X, if they're on there, or LinkedIn at least. So definitely reach out. We'll put more links in terms of like all the different meetup groups as well, because we're around the country. So Jake, please share what you've got in the chat. And just to let you know, folks, the so in Canberra, it's a little bit smaller as well, but you know, we've had some great stuff from Jordan, who is also known as the Happy Spender on TikTok, on Instagram as well. And she does some cool education course called Dear Crypto. So definitely worth checking that out. And she'll be doing some stuff in Canberra. We did an event there mid last year with Canberra Uni. So some really good stuff. So I think, yeah, it'd be great to, you know, if you're in Canberra, or if you're in Newcastle, or if you're in Sydney, just knowing the folks who are in there, and just in Discord, people have reached out to us to just go, I'm in town. Can you recommend some events going on? And we'll put them in touch with people. We've even met people who are only in town for a few days, even if there's no events. So, you know, we love to kind of meet people and stuff. But I'm going to jump over. So Canberra's Jordan, sends her apologies. Down in Melbourne, I believe we've got Hamish Jones in the crowd here right now. Hamish, are you there?
Hello.
Hello. How's it going? How's it going down there?
Good, good. I sort of dumped myself in it, talking to you when you were down in Melbourne last year, saying, hey, you guys need to do more events in Melbourne. There's plenty going on in Melbourne. Why aren't you doing enough events in Melbourne? And then you turned around and said, well, why don't you help us join organise events in Melbourne? And I couldn't really say no to that. So here we are. All kicks off next week, and some exciting stuff going forward through the rest of the year.
Mate, love it. And you were, what people don't realize about Melbourne that maybe not have only just come into the space recently is that there was a lot of great stuff with the blockchain hub. And I think you were part of like helping that grow in its early years, and it's starting to come back now. It's over at RMIT. We've got our event at RMIT in March already booked in, but we've got an event with Graythorn next week. So if people are around, are you coming to those ones?
I will be
Hamish?
at the event next week, yes.
Fantastic. So, yeah, if you want to have amazing stories about what the growth was like in Melbourne in the early years, then definitely Hamish can, regale you with some amazing kind of stories. But we've also got folks like Sensand, Adelaide, and James Spencer that have been helping us out there. We've got the folks at Graythorn, the folks at Upside as well, just outside of the city. We've got Annabelle Vassallo, who's come in from overseas, from France. She's not with us today, but has been putting her hand up to want to help. She's grown communities in France, so we're really looking forward to what she can help us out with. And Jerome from Mezfi is Jerome. You in the crowd? I don't see Jerome. But anyway, Jerome, there's a project called Mezfi, so definitely worth checking that out. But he's put his hand up to help. And obviously, we have the awesome Cloud Tech crew. So Liam, who's their chief marketing officer, who really kickstarted this new partnership that we've got. Is going to be helping lead the charge in Melbourne with us. So yeah, there's an amazing crew down there. There's a bit of Sydney-Melbourne rivalry. Having lived in both cities, I am on the fence. So, some amazing stuff going on. But thank you so much, Hamish. Anything you want to mention as well, or all good?
No, not tonight. We're all good.
All right. Brisbane, we'll go to that next. We've got some folks like Renee, Jamison, Duncan from CoinStash. We're gonna do some events there. If anyone is there from the crew, please come up on stage and say good day. Camera off, camera on, does not matter. But yeah, we're gonna do an event there probably late February, but we're gonna start doing the monthly events there between Brisbane and the Sunshine Coast. Is anyone there from Brisbane or Sunny Coast?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Hey.
So apologies, lack of camera. But yeah, hey, nice to meet you all. So yeah, I'm a bit new to the Oz DeFi scene, but it looks like you've got a nice little crew going on here. So yeah, happy to be here.
Amazing.
And, yeah, look, anyone that is in Brisbane, or if you're just popping in for a visit, like feel free to hit me up. Contact contact Mark. He can pass my details on, or yeah, I'm in some of those chats. So yeah, I'm around. Come say hi.
Amazing stuff. And yeah, looking forward to kicking off the year in Brisbane again. They've got great communities up there, all things blockchain. There's a few other groups up there. There's some great community leaders up there. So definitely some old school folks as well that have been in this space for a long time. So just like Melbourne, Brisbane has some great crew. We've got the same thing here in Sydney. You know, we are amongst other great meetups and associations. So yeah, really looking forward to doing stuff with you guys up there. Renee or Jamison, feel free to come up if you would like. I'm just going to go through the room. I think Sophie and Trace from Perth. Are you guys there?
Yep, we're here.
Oh, fantastic. G'day, Trace. How's it going?
Hey, how you going?
Very
Hi.
well. What's the time over there? Australia's so big.
It's 5:30 and it's still probably about 40 degrees at the moment. So we're all in the aircon over here.
Wow.
I'm
melting.
Yeah, we are melting, but I can see Rowan's in here as well. So a bit of a background for us over here in Perth. Kat, who a lot of you in this room here might know, who's been leading the charge over here in Perth since she moved back over here, has taken a bit of a back seat in the group at the moment. So myself kind of leading the charge this year along with Soph and Ronan, trying to push things along over here in Perth, but it really started to build a little bit late last year anyway. I think, you know, everyone's been a bit quiet, everyone's doing a bit of building, but yeah, people were coming out of the woodwork and we're really trying to build the monthly gatherings and see where we can take it this year. So likewise, if anyone's over here, let us know. We want to have some really good speakers along. So a bit of fair warning as we try and kind of pull together who we've got when. So please let us know. But there's a lot of really cool stuff happening in Perth. I kind of think we get left behind a little bit, but you wouldn't believe the crypto scene here. There's a lot of startups, a lot of really interesting things happening, and we're trying to get those people to come along to these meetups. We think we try and do them like the second or third Thursday, and we were just chatting with Mark this week, and it looks like we kind of earmarked for what will end up being the halving day on our Thursday that we're earmarked for April. So we're going to have a bit of a halving party on that gathering. Hopefully Mark's going to come over for that one. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yep, I will be.
Just his bottom half, actually, ironically.
Yeah.
For the half.
Yeah. That's all you need for the plane. The rest will come in the cargo hold.
Yeah. So again, with the help of everybody, I think we can really build what's going on over here in Perth, and looking forward to what's going to be a cracker of a year, I think.
Absolutely. Sophie, and then we'll go to Ronan. Sophie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Look, it's really cool to be able to collaborate. I think that's what this is all about. I'm a really strong community builder and collaborator, so it's really cool being able to step forward. You know, I mean, I like to be in background, but I think you know, any opportunity to help continue proliferating, you know, a really positive energy around the DeFi crypto blockchain space, you won't find me far away from that. So I'm pretty happy to be involved. Thanks for the opportunity, guys.
Love that you're in the background, but it's hard to say no for you because, you know, testament to the communities that you built. You're doing something WA Web3.
Yeah, there's going to be a Web3 conference out here at UWA. So yeah, I'll be speaking along with quite a few other, pretty interesting people in the space. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Like Trace was saying, we do actually have some really cool things happening in the Web3 blockchain space here in Perth.
What's the date for that, Soph?
That's the 21st and the 22nd of March.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so if anyone else is here, please come.
Yeah, well, it's funny enough, we Not Centralized kind of works a bit with Dirk Bauer, Professor Bauer.
He's awesome. Dirk's fantastic.
Yeah, he's really good fun. So we're on that blockchain advisory council along with Lucy Stan, who's at Westpac, Michael Prendeville, Critter at Jelly Sea, who some of you may know.
Really well.
Yeah, he is. He's very funny. So we're in the same office, ironically, in Sydney as Ash.
I know Ash really well too. Yep.
Yeah. Well, my commiserations for you there. But yeah, we were thinking, that little panel was thinking, well, what would be a good, because we have this monthly meet and that's fine. The other member is David there in Perth, who relocated from Sydney when he left Digital X and who's working on things there. So yeah, actually that might be an interesting date. So 21st of March. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Amazing. Go ahead, Sophie. What was that?
No, I was just saying to Nick, look forward to meeting you if you manage to get over here. Great.
Yeah,
Where's Ryan?
Yeah, we'll have a scramble. Yeah, it might.
Whoop.
Sorry to jump in. I saw Ronan in here as well, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm going to go to Ronan next. But just before we do, were you saying something, Nick? And then we'll go to Ronan.
Don't worry. Go.
All good. Ronan, are you there?
Yeah, hi Mark. Hi everyone.
How's it going?
Yeah, awesome. Pretty hot here.
Yeah, I heard. Have you got aircon?
Yeah, thankfully.
So you've been doing some great stuff, helping us out over in Perth, and people are going to learn more about HBAR Suite. And definitely, I watch religiously the HBAR Bull, because we've done some stuff. My company separately done some stuff with Hedera, and so keeping updates there of what's going on in that space. And you guys featured in one of the most recent ones, so great to see H Suite being put out there. But you'll be at the events and stuff as well, and looking forward to what we can do this year.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Mate, thank you so much. And look, folks, if you want to connect with all these people, as was mentioned before, we're going to have on YouTube, this will be put out with everyone's links and stuff there. And then we'll also, just check that out. I think someone asked for the video before, so I'll reach out to them. But yeah, you can download it off YouTube as well, if you'd like. There's ways to do that. Just Google download YouTube video, and then you can download all of our stuff if you'd like. But the last one was Adelaide. Oh, sorry, someone say something there? No. So in Adelaide, we've got Simon and Jason Finley and Simon Amory. I'll just go back to share screen. Sorry, here we go. So Simon and Jason are folks in Adelaide. And so those are the 7 cities that we're in. We've definitely got people, some folks in our Discord are from Tasmania, some folks, there's even someone that was joining us early on up in the Northern Territory in Darwin. So folks from all over. And we did have some expat Aussie folks in the crowd today, Ms. From Singapore. And we also had a few people that have been in our Discord from other countries. So if you hear from international, like Andre, definitely please join us, in the Discord for conversations there. Follow us on Twitter. This next one is, as you see there, final announcements. We've got the link tree here, so definitely scan that. But I'll put all the links in the YouTube later as well. But just look up AUS DeFi Association on YouTube. You'll see all of our past videos, our meetups, podcasts that we use to get to know the community. It's not just Australian folks, natives, but we've also had folks from overseas as well join us, folks from Fireblocks. We interviewed Michael Sharlov, their CEO. We've had some cool stuff with Base. we're getting to really know a lot of the international community, and there's great folks that are leading the charge here. So all I wanted to say was thank you so much, everyone. This was a great event. Like I said, it'll be out on YouTube soon, and you'll see all the links. But that's pretty much it. So thank you for spending your last couple of hours with us. Hopefully you had some food and drink. If you go to our events, you'll know that we are fans of Domino's, and that's what I was eating tonight. Okay, the screen blurring share doesn't really show it, but I was chomping down on some. Anyway, that's it, folks. Thank you so much, and we will see you at the live events in February. All right. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, Mark. That was awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, folks. All right, ending it.